The only other thing that's on our radar right now with regard to projects, we're waiting for the announcements for the multimodal fund, which I think are supposed to be maybe sometime here in February.
This month, maybe.
So we'll anxiously wait. I think the city has one in as concert with what we're doing for the resurfacing project in the downtown. Other than that, Julie and I had a chance to talk with Michelle and staff regarding our 2021 TIP update. So I think we're pleased to report that a lot of the projects that we have on our program are moving forward. One thing I know, Michelle, I want to thank the district for is the the Thompson Avenue and Hill Church Road is one intersection in the county. It's pretty bad, and the department has found some highway safety monies to address that. Song can attest because he actually had a crash at that location, so I'm sure he's happy to see it fixed. But
to up the statistics so you have a better chance of getting it.
Yeah. I made Song go out there and drive through the intersection so we could get it.
How maybe do it?
But no, a lot of the, as many of you know, with our 2021 TIP, we're all trying to do more with less. We've, as the MPOs are receiving their haircut, but I think the credit to the district staff for helping to maintain our program. So we're continuing to advance the items in the city. We have the Lingle Avenue project that will continue to advance forward, 241, and several other bridge projects and road improvements are proceeding forward. So I think for everybody here, I just want to say PennDOT and their staff have helped to keep our program, I think, with its highest priorities intact, and we're very appreciative of that. The only other thing I'll have that later in the agenda will be just a quick update on the RSA. That's another effort that I think we're very pleased to have moving forward, and Michelle and her staff have been helping us get that to a point where we now have a date that we'll be meeting in the field with some of our counterparts. So that's about all I have. The only other thing I did want to make light to the members, and something that maybe we'll explore a little bit, we got word from Central Office, Jackie in Central Office, about Federal Highways is actually looking at National Scenic Byway designation applications and submissions. So I guess I'm going to sit in on a call to see if Route 419 may be one of those areas that we could continue to explore. I don't know if that will mean additional resources, but certainly want to see if we might be a candidate to advance that forward. So I don't know, Paul, any thoughts from perspective of from a state scenic byway to a national byway?
We just keep moving forward.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that since we do have a modified corridor management plan for the corridor, I think that also helps to up the ante a little bit. When you're looking over at the requirements in order to get that national designation, you have to have certain things in place. And I guess we'll have to find out if that meets muster moving forward.
And there's a gentleman who has a wonderful slide presentation that's been updated many times that you could incorporate to submit that application.
Yeah. I think once I have my call on next Tuesday, I'll know a little bit more about what we have to submit, so we might take you up on that offer.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, a quick highlight, as many of you know, the long-range transportation plan is something that we're required to update every 4 years. We're working through that process. For those of you that have attended our stakeholders meeting, we had our second stakeholders meeting in January. I think we've gotten a lot of great feedback through the project website as well as feedback from the community. WSP staff is kind of currently in the process now of kind of putting a lot of those pieces together. We certainly encourage anybody that has the opportunity to, share the word or go to the website and provide additional feedback where there are traffic concerns throughout the county. We want to know. Talking with WSP, one of the things we're going to try to highlight too is a lot of the efforts across the county with regard to the multimodal, with the development of the Lebanon Valley Rail Trail, as well as a lot of the connectors. I know the mayor and the city are working on one from Union Canal over to Coleman's Park. We have South Lebanon that's working on a second phase of their trail. We have a whole bunch of other connections that we've been exploring, and I think the WSP staff felt that that was something that we definitely wanted to acknowledge because there is a lot of progress going on, and I think the value that those kind of improvements are going to have as Lebanon grows up and our communities are connected. There's not only just a recreational benefit, but also an economic benefit to what it does to bring people here to the county and allow them to get around. So we'll keep you posted. Our intent is we're going to probably have this in front of you here in June of 2020. Our, I think, actual deadline is June 16th. I think our meeting is scheduled for the 18th. So we still have some things to do that we're going to have to go through. Paul?
Yeah, we're actually gonna have a draft of our long-range plan late April. It will be sent to Federal Highway and PennDOT Central Office for review and comment. And then at our May meeting, technical committee meeting, it will be sent in front of them, and in June, like John said, it will be sent to the policy board. But the deadline that we're pushing forward is September 29th. That's when Federal Highway approved it 4 years ago. So we do still have some time. I know it seems like we're rushing, but WSP is doing a great job of moving this forward. And I'm pretty sure, I'm confident we're gonna meet all those dates, and we'll have something really good to show them, so.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, one of the things too that, with this round, we're also trying to dovetail what we're doing with the update of the 2021 TIP in terms of making sure that those processes will sort of mesh together as we go through the approval process, because we have to run through air quality conformity and other things related to our plan as well as the TIP. So, but I think from where we are, Michelle, I don't know if there's any other additions aside from, I know there was some discussion with Nate about maybe some other HSIP projects, but I think aside from what we did with Thompson Ave, that was about the only new one that.
That's the only new one currently. The district's still looking at if there are additional funds out there and that are available. We're looking at additional locations that can be evaluated to see if they're eligible for HSIP funds.
And that's important too, because one of the things I think that these programs have is you can't just put HSIP money on a project. It has to meet a certain set of criteria. And so that's really a huge help of where the district can help us on which identifies, and then for us, letting them know where might be the higher priority. And I think we've worked well in trying to figure those out. So, but aside from that, we will continue to keep you posted. I think at some point within the March, April timeframe, we will probably have one big public meeting to bring out the, sort of draft of the long-range plan for some additional, wrap up and comment. But I think for the most part, we've had our stakeholders meetings. We've got a lot of good feedback from the community. I think the value is it's helping to validate places I think we already knew were concerns, but we certainly appreciate the feedback that we've gotten to date. I think we're more than close to 200 additional comments, I think, on the plan. So, thank you guys. But with that, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, John.
A date that we will be meeting in Annville with our various stakeholders. PennDOT, it will be South Annville, North Annville, and Annville, along with various representatives from their police and fire to try to discuss a lot of the issues that we do have in the corridor. And I think we've had some success in the past with the RSAs. For those of you that hear about the safety improvements that are going on in 241, those were a direct result of a road safety audit we had. The improvements out on 422 from 645 out to Martin Drive, those were also a result of an RSA that we had done in the past. So I think we're glad.
Hey, John, would it be appropriate for Lebanon Transit to be at one of these meetings? We use that road a lot.
I think from
maybe not for this one, but you determine if it would be appropriate for us to sit at any of those.
Well, I will tell you, Terry, I think any input is always welcome. I think the initial kickoff meeting, we were going to try to have those key stakeholders there. I think for the actual field view, we're trying to keep that small, just by virtue of, safety.
Sure.
We only want a handful of people that are out walking on the border. I don't know, Michelle, from the district perspective.
I think it would be valuable to have transit included at an interim at the kickoff meeting, just to get another perspective, eyes on the ground to see what Terry may know. So that would be helpful, and maybe the wrap up as well, if she has any input to include in the draft report, that may be of value.
Go ahead, Saul.
And I just want to add, after I met with Mayor Capello, I know this RSA, when we do the walkthrough, can be dangerous, so we actually thought maybe we should make it a work zone that day, where then we can put out signs to show that people are going to be in that area. I thought that was a great idea. And I think that Terry should be, Lebanon Transit should be invited, because we were going to ask you if you can provide a bus.
Oh, wait a minute. You're only allowed if you bring your bus.
Things are clearer now.
I don't get to go anywhere without the big
You may come,
scissors.
but bring your bus.
We need to
There you go.
No, but I
We'll
think
take a bus, we'll take whatever we can get.
But I think the work zone idea is great, so people can be comfortable out there. And Robin just left, but she did attend the 241 RSA, and she said that she was scared, so I
Yeah.
think it's a good idea, so we need to
Even
talk
when you
about
have a
that.
work zone set up, you know, people just ignore a lot of signs, and so I think if at a minimum you can have a truck with a flashing light and some signs and vests on, it just helps.
So we should contact Chad and maybe make note of that, and hopefully we can get that done.
And I think there was some discussion about whether or not the police force, both with Chief Dugan and with Cleona's chief, to maybe be out on site. I guess it's, I don't know, Michelle, they don't use any vehicles with PennDOT County maintenance on any of the RSAs.
There's certain requirements that we have to meet. So at a minimum, I know previously we've used a 15-passenger van with a light on it. And the individuals that are going to participate would be required to take a helmet and the vest. So we are, again, as John alluded to, trying to keep it at a minimum for the field because of safety requirements. So we have to tie it back to what is required as per FHWA to complete the RSA. So I'll tie this conversation back, have touch back with traffic safety to see what we have completed in the past with safety in mind. So I'll tie back with John, have the conversation, go back and talk with the district traffic safety unit, and we'll make certain that we keep the consultant in the loop to see how many people we can and safely should have out in the field when we conduct the RSA.
And I think that's always a challenge. I mean, I believe Nick brought up a concern from one of the churches. I think they're at that S turn just before you get in the south end of Annville. And I know he's probably been communicating them in advance of us, getting the RSA underway. And when people like that want to participate, it's always that question. You're going to be out in the field. You're standing along a roadway, so you want to keep it minimized. And I think they were going to have just as we get through that portion of the corridor for them to come out and share some of their perspective, but it's certainly one that we want to keep the number down.
Let me just say, there is a crossing guard there. You wanna keep people slowed down, I don't know who she is, but nobody moves when that crossing. I see her and I go from like 10 to 0. She is serious about her job. Maybe you better think about getting her with her thing.
She can slow people down.
Oh, she'll slow anybody down, they're afraid of her.
But as far as the transit, I mean, we didn't want a lot of vehicles out there being parked, so, the little paratransit buses, if we could get one of those, to be somewhere and then take everyone to that location,
And just tell us
we have
what
one
you
vehicle.
need.
You just really want Terry's
Oh, I love her, man.
shared ride vehicle, don't you?
You just tell us what you need.
But thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
That's all I have.